Most homemade chili tastes like seasoned tomato soup. It's not bad, it's just not what chili's meant to be. The problem's not the recipe, it's how people know how to build flavor. Most people skip the layers of order part and go straight to just dumping everything into the pot. Today, we're gonna show you how to fix that with a little technique, a single pot, and a chili seasoning blend that does more than most people's pantries. We're building chili in layers. Sear first, then our aromatics, then we're gonna bloom our seasonings. And this is where your chili will start to separate itself from the average. Every step has a reason, and I'm gonna tell you today what to look for on each one so you can do it correctly. The first thing most people do wrong with chili is that they treat the beef like it's a chore. They throw it in the pot, crumble it up, and then stir it around until it turns gray. This is the difference between good chili and great chili. Get your pot hot over a medium-high heat. A tablespoon of neutral oil or so goes in. When the oil starts to shimmer, add your ground beef. I'm using 900 grams of a 80-20 chuck. The fat is not just there for moisture, it's gonna carry flavor. The leaner the beef makes leaner, flatter tasting chili. Now here's the part that everyone skips. Stop touching it. Spread it across the bottom and then walk away for 2 to 3 full minutes. You're building a crust. That brown crust on the bottom of the meat is called a Maillard reaction, and that's the single biggest flavor builder in this entire recipe. If you stir the beef every 10 seconds, the moisture is never going to escape, and the pan is never going to get hot enough, and you end up with a gray steamed meat and a puddle of fat at the bottom of the can. And that's not chili. See that? That color is flavor. When you have a real crust on the bottom, now you break it up. Keep cooking until the whole batch has a deep brown color and some crispy bits. If there's a lot of excess fat in your pot, drain some of that off, but you want to make sure that you leave some of it behind. The spices are going to need it. 1 large onion, finely diced, goes straight into the pot with the beef. And don't worry, we're not being graded here. Perfection's not required. Reason number 5,000 why everybody needs a bench scraper. We are sweating the onion here, not searing it. Around 5 to 7 minutes on a low to medium heat, you're looking for it to be translucent and slightly golden, not char. If you hear sizzling when you dump this in, your heat's too high, make sure you turn that down. 5 cloves of garlic, minced. When to add garlic so it doesn't burn. Garlic is smaller and it burns fast. If you add it at the beginning with the onion, it's gonna scorch and you're gonna get a bitter flavor throughout the pot. 30 to 45 seconds is all you need with a hot pan. When you can smell it, it's done. Move on. Now this is the most important step in this recipe, so lock in. It also happens to be the step that almost everyone skips. This is the step that's gonna separate your chili from everyone else's. Most people are just gonna dump in all their spices when they dump in the liquid and just let them simmer with that. That works, sort of. But blooming those spices in fat first is gonna unlock a completely new level of those spices that you won't have any other way. The fat-soluble flavor compounds in the spices need heat and fat to fully unlock. Dumping them into that tomato liquid means that they hydrate, but they never fully activate. You get the flavor of spices, but blooming is gonna give you the full flavor of spices. And I'm gonna walk you through what each one of them does, because if you understand the spice and what it does, you can adjust the flavor to your exact preference, not just follow a recipe. Remember, I'm here to teach you to fish, not just throw one on your plate. Ancho has the rich, almost fruity warmth that regular chili powder doesn't quite have. If you only use 1 chili powder, the flavor is flat. This is the backbone of the whole pot and it's gonna set the tone. Cumin is earthy and warm, and it is the spice that makes chili taste like chili. Without cumin, you just have spicy tomato beef. A little smoke goes a long way. This is the background of flavor, not the star. Garlic powder and onion powder. These reinforce the fresh garlic and the onion that's already in the pot. Layering the same flavor in different forms makes it rounder and fuller without making it stronger. Mexican oregano, 1 gram. This is not the same as Italian oregano. Mexican oregano is more citrusy, more herbal, and it belongs in chili. Heat, but a different kind than chili powders. It bites differently and the contrast matters. This is your heat dial. 1/2 gram is a gentle warmth. If you want more kick, this is what you want to increase. Why is there cocoa powder in my chili? Well, Granny's happy you asked. This isn't a chocolate chili. You will not taste the chocolate. What it does do, however, is add a bitter roasty flavor in the bottom and rounds out the sweetness of the tomatoes, as well as the warmth of the spices. It's gonna fill in that gap in flavor that you didn't even know was there until you taste it with or without. Not for sweetness, but for complexity. And this here is what you're gonna be using as your thickening agent. Masa is a dried corn dough. It's what tortillas are made out of. When used as a thickener in chili, it's gonna give it that body without making it gluey or pasty like flour does. All of this is gonna go into that pot with our beef, onion, and garlic. Stir it through so that the spices coat the meat and hit that fat on the bottom of the pot. Cook it for 60 to 90 seconds or so. You'll know it's working because the kitchen is gonna smell like a completely different recipe than it just did 30 seconds ago. That's called blooming. That's the step that most people skip, and the reason that homemade chili tastes like it's missing something. Lord hammers. Why you cook your tomato paste before adding liquid. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste go in first, not the crushed tomatoes, the paste. Stir this in and cook it for around 1 to 2 minutes until it darkens just slightly. Tomato paste is a concentrated tomato flavor, but raw has sort of a tinny, kind of sharp taste. So cooking it is going to caramelize those sugars and mellow out the acidity. If you just dump it in with the liquid, you taste the metal, cook it first, and you taste the tomato. Now the crushed tomatoes are going to go in. I have 1 can, about 800 grams, then 1.5 cups of beef broth. Stir everything together and scrape up whatever fond you created on the bottom. Those brown bits are the concentrated flavor we created earlier from searing that meat. Don't leave them there, that's wasted flavor. Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon. This adds some umami and a deep savory note that makes your mouth water. Soy sauce, 1 teaspoon. Same job as the Worcestershire, but it hits a little bit differently. Layering umami sources is going to work the same way as layering garlic and onion powder. Quick side note, anytime a dish tastes good but feels like it's missing something, it's usually umami. Worcestershire, soy sauce, fish sauce, miso, and Parmesan are all gigantic umami bombs. If you learn to reach for umami when your dish feels flat, you're gonna fix a lot more dishes than you break. All right, back to the chili. Brown sugar, 1 tablespoon. This is not making the chili sweet. It's gonna balance the acidity of the tomatoes and round out the heat from the chili powders. Without it, the pot is gonna lean too sharp. Apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon. This sounds backwards because I just said we are balancing the acidity, but the brightness is different from sharpness. Bring the pot to a gentle simmer, then drop your heat to low. We're going to be going low and slow here for 1.5 to 2 hours, uncovered, and stirring it occasionally. How to tell when chili's actually done. Chili's going to do 3 things when it's ready. It's going to thicken, it's going to darken, and it's going to smell differently than it did an hour ago. At the start, it smells like spices and tomato. When it's done, it smells like one thing, chili. The individual ingredients are going to disappear and everything starts to smell like one cohesive dish. If you can still pick out the individual spice smells, it's not ready. Now beans are optional, I guess. I'm not here to fight with you about it, unless of course you just want to be told you're wrong in the comments. I always welcome the engagement. If you do want to add them in, drain them and rinse them and add them in about 30 minutes prior to finishing cooking. The last 30 minutes is that nice sweet spot where they're still going to be able to absorb a ton of flavor, but they keep their texture. Now for our final step, we're gonna taste. And if you didn't make it perfect the first try like Granny, you can adjust from here. The recipe and spice blender in the description. Make this and share it with all your friends. And when they ask you where you got the recipe from, tell them it was Granny. You need to make this. Boy, I did my chili.